Gilg Jew, Gilg J as Gilg Nerach.
As my saw licht an Gael taiach na share Claare na Gael, she my heart na say shoe is altacha. My name is Robert Cutting Carswell, Robert de Carslach.
Have you ever had tell of old Bobby Bob?
And it's my pleasure to present this bilingual programme with part of it in the English language as Lesh Perchis a Gilg, and with part of it in the Manx Gaelic, Chinyanamera, the mother tongue of Mannin Veg Veen, the Isle of Man. As Bannacht and Jurish, William Gell's wish in March of 1906 for Moore's sail-making factory at Tremode was, "May it thrive, continue very much alive, in future years a busy hive." So that was in March of 1906, and then news came on Saturday the 5th of May 1906 that the factory would close that June. But we'll look to its earlier years, and we'll also look at some family history. Ons Chaglam, Skiel and Ferrish na Brerich and Grimm, Tashin Jean Skiel Machion, a Frins Ranag. Ta Rion as Nien and Ellen Egge, as for Nien Se, Ellen Erskin Inch. Trevech la Cheon, Jenachish, Gol Stiach ons Keelboer Dorge, gus Chiver Fuur. We start with a Scottish duo, Carnan, though making a full sound here with the voice and guitar of Arthur Brooke and the accordion of Loudon Mackay, and it's a song called Fionlach. Tashu Geishach rish Radio Vanning, Stashu na Nashun, Viskull Scalia Mach, Waidulish, Allen Vanning. And that's the surprise ending on that piece by Carnan, a Scottish duo with Arthur Brooke from Slate on the Isle of Skye and Loudon Mackay from Kintail in Loch Also, over the bridge and away down the road, and a song about someone called Fiúnlach. We return to the Isle of Man Times for Saturday the 12th of May 1906. Tremode Works, removal to the mainland. Well, perhaps unexpected use of the mainland there. A loss to Manxland, another ancient landmark going. Founded in 1790 by Edward Moore, the business has been carried on since then by his sons, Messrs. Edward and James Moore, by his grandson, Mr. W. F. Moore, and by his great-grandson, Mr. A. W. Moore. During the whole of this long period, their sailcloth has maintained its reputation as the best in the market. We understand that Mr. A. W. Moore, though retaining an interest in the business, will continue to reside here. We trust that Tremode Works will continue to be an industrial centre. Its magnificent water power admirably adapts it for the manufacture of a staple, such as wool, which, unlike flax, can be purchased on the spot. Well, the business had at one time used Manx-grown flax, but for continuity of supply they had to buy in bulk, and that came from the Baltic. Jinnach nín sé fír yn y rhi sai sís fóvilja teilus y cheilfŵr dorcha ag oer chyfer fŵr. As my van treji in de veil jouwer, jinnach I goil mach blug yn as jinnach I ciaw súse as goilerish, as we seo yn rai gamanec de chorsja yn treig. Ach, hager laderau, de ren de blug yn on sinne je tujum rish ons lau weg of oigen, ver ciaw súse, tujum gus a leir fagus de oer a chyfer, as renne rolas diach on. Ren nien a ri gaart leis na súlianech haus renne sin Gael, a gedown van chyfer na rauwe bungie ragen. Eis gaui toiach ter Kenia, as fi Kenia's Kenia, man a bech weg oddach gurdige jarach. As ons menach eniek, chili correg reiri, Kirit a jinnawort nina ri, jinnach na jered ljai cri clai. As tre yichi suskus of all by henke chorei, gerau weg on nach kjon chu grena, J. Ranag. Now, we've heard a couple of pieces by Welsh trio Elven, and this now is a song called Seren Sew, What a Star.
Athos gariad I mi heno, Gnawn y modau cyn y mado, I rwy mod o'r addelo, Roed y gred a dwed y doi. Lewis lanad serch fy man wes, Wyw deg o'r air I oed a geres. Mis gymhara fel gymhares, Roed y gred a dwed y doi. And a lugad gaf wiriones,
the accordion and vocals of Stacey Blythe, and she was joined by the fiddle and harmonies of Helena Rees and the bass of Jordan Price Williams. Van Ranag Sheena Sousa Kjaun tu Greneg and Mach as an Ustja. O, ne uston Jan sprangach os dursi. Tammy Kenya no de wel a blug an dujum stiach sa chiver. Na gauim ne, na gin Kenya, dort an Ranag, fodum kunaliat. Ach, crei niu cordau, ma vim cor lesh nis de bluggen rish. Crei bi tau giri ma Ranag Veen doortish, fair bi je na Aedian em, na Perlen as na Cligina em, na an other tammy kiau. Chanel the Aedian, na Perlen as Cligina ed, as an other ed mahon, dan Suran Ranag. Ach, de jinnach who cor grai orm, as Gael mi mor de chumreg as de chesha chlai, as lieged au sail jort gewoord, as Vain Clared, as Jane Chabaned, as Cadless Liabi Beged, as de jinnach who cor Gelden noch jaun ulju Shaw, esh, jinnens tumme fo an ustja, as cor lesher de honda bluggen ered rish. So Edward Moore's business was inherited by his sons, Edward and James, with James, 1772 to 1846, based in work premises which gave their name to Factory Lane in Douglas, subsequently renamed as Wellington Street. Edward fell into bankruptcy and James bought him out, and the Tremode Works was built up to be the focus of the business. Downstream from the mill and on the opposite bank in about 1827, James had a grand house built which he called Cronkbourne as the family home. When James died in 1846, his eldest son inherited the house and business, and that was the venerable Archdeacon Joseph Christian Moore. But he had no interest in any of that and sold everything to his younger brother, William Fine Moore, 1814 to 1895, who became a member of the self-elected House of Keys in 1957, but was also returned top of the poll as a member of the House of Keys for Douglas in the first elected House in 1867, and he continued to serve until 1875. Malloy on flute, John Carty on fiddle, and the guitar playing of Artie McGlynn. And Matt and John were both recipients of the Gradam Ceol T.G. Cahers Award for Traditional Musician of the Year, and I think the announcements will be coming up next month for this year's Gradam Ceol and the other awards for T.G. Caher. Asún sin de dearú radio vanning, as cartnish sé Claare na Gael was scolar scale mach, as mish, Robert Cutting Carswell, Robert the Carslach.
Did the other hear tell of old Bobby Bob?
Rish Shachten looked the Claare na Gael go scale mach and chid hier shaw to cad you a clash ni through din the degger radio vanning, brugi a craman esh rish as shirgi en the Claare rolla. De Claare na Gael go a Ginnemor podcast, yes, as Shenrach hadden yes through den degger radio vanning, na through den reich the podcast jou. Apple Podcasts, Amazon Audible, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, na Alexa. It was William Fine Moore who developed Cronkbourne village as a model village for workers, though with many rules and regulations over their lives. A surviving legacy of that Moore family benevolent dictatorship is Cronkbourne Sports and Social Club. William Fine Moore's son, A.W. Moore, Arthur William Moore, 1853 to 1909, was also elected MHK in 1881 and became Speaker of the House in 1898. You may recall that when William Gell's poem appeared in book form, I mentioned that there was a dedication, inscribed in the profoundest respected esteem to that illustrious Manxman and scholar A.W. Moore, Esquire, M.A., C.V.O., Speaker of the House of Keys. And when the goodwill of the sailmaking business was sold off Ireland, the Isle of Man refers to the mainland, which I suppose shows the attitude of the day to empire and so on, A.W. Moore retained an interest in the business, but the manufacturing side of it went off to Cronkbourne in Somerset. O yinnen dregery, jinnam cor gelden olju, creer bi tau giri, ma vissu of gedden mahalm of lugan rish. Ach, wie smunjen ri heen. Creën baachne, te lord, maar de waddigheid je no weg, ach wij na huis en ustjes, kljogerach rish na rannigen elje, na wij ons achter wie, maar kom reg de pecher bij. Ach, rennen rannag, gelees geel e gelden ek, tarn nu se kjoon ege foon ustje, as renni sinkeel schies as schilje. Ach, lug tamelt, henke gus een echte rish, lesje bluggen se wielege, as renni kjoui, en Vanina regent mag erskin bogedagen a Gael en ekrish, as gawi nisa as renny raier soelesh. Stop, dilia ranag, gauw mish nis nies, ga not raig gebuwes os. Ach, wij ons verdeel. Son kljogerach na jai mar jinnige, ga jinnige eestjachrish. Ha jinnige eestjachrish, ach ren sairach a tai. Now, Claire Boucher was originally from Sarzab, near Vannes in Brittany, but she's now based in Montreal, where she continues to sing songs in her native Breton. And here she sings of the spirit of the fire.
Azodendo gadon Le dus gavantan ani jo waraskel on evel grand. Le dus gavantan ani jo waraskel on evel grand. Met me glas gandhi wes on elfen azul Alas, maro warer luraden, ludus gavantan.
Breton-Canadian singer, I suppose, as she is, Claire Boucher. She now lives in Montreal, but she's originally from Sarzav, as it is in Breton, or Sarzeau in the Frenchified version, on the Chris Peninsula that forms the southern coast of the Gulf of Morbihan. Lia de Lure, Yarud Nien Sa Ri Ulju Machon en Ranag Bach, Vaignet de Chor Lesha Hien Gus a Chivereg An leir gain treffer nien ri na sai ag a woord merische ri as olje na courteren, as vain Claare erek, henk ridenach pitte patte soes na griechen mamer, as henk kronkel a doris, as correv a gillach mach, nien ser ri, lig dou chits jachon. As Jiri as renny rai hugged the in quai vech on. Ach tred doshli a doris, on shen van ranag na hai chow muije. Esh, renny duna and doris the syrach, as hai backers and tayagek, as ish genach den yow eshach. Gauwer ri taast the jay kreeg op buw van kriek bula, as dorte. Ma feitje, kreeg tau goil aalrosh. Wel voor na jadu chow mooi jen doris, erlu de immerke oersoel. O, genel, dreggerie, genei voor, ach rana grenaton. As we heard in 1827, James Moore had built a family mansion on the River Glass, and William Gell refers to it now in his poem. Another charming seat, Cronkbourne. Another here did Mannin mourn, who lately did her halls adorn. Strong on her legislative floor, still foremost among the 24, the old-time-honoured name of Moore. I think this must be a reference to the death of William Fine Moore in 1895. He'd been a former member of the House of Keys, and his son, A.W. Moore, was a member at the time of the poem. And, still foremost among the 24, he was Speaker of the House of Keys from 1898 until his death at only 56 years of age, in fact, in 1909. On the death of A.W. Moore's father, William Fine Moore, in 1881, Cronkbourne was left to A.W. Moore, but his mother, Hannah, was to continue to live there for her lifetime. And as it turned out, A.W. Moore predeceased his mother. In the meantime, he'd been renting Woodburn House in Douglas, which can still be seen, though one wing, as you stand looking at, the wing to your left as you stand looking at, was extended to form the Masonic Hall in Douglas, but you can still see the outline, the footprint of the house itself. Now, we have some words written as a tongue twister by Bernard Kane to the dance tune Cardew and Nan, and later some words written by Colin Jerry to the carvel tune Moramai Dutsas Gurjach. And we also have a version of Leighton Stoll's tune Gathering in the Barley. So this is the group Skeel.
Short of my bum and Christmas, yes, you can swag a chip, short of my bum and Christmas, yes, you can shen. Short of my bum and Christmas, yes, you can swag a chip, short of my bum and Christmas, yes, you can shen. Lick to know you down a lot, lick to cook a relish, lick to know you down a lot, but no bog of bay, shiver shen to my bum and yes, you can swag a chip, shen to my bum and yes, you can shen. Short of my bum and Christmas, yes, you can swag a chip, short of my bum and Christmas, yes, you can shen. Short of my bum and Christmas, yes, you can swag a chip, short of my bum and yes, you can shen. Lick to know you down a lot, lick to cook a relish, lick to know you down a lot, the bottom of a bog of bay, shiver shen to my bum and Christmas, yes, you can swag. Chivy shen to bubble yes, you to shen, chase short of my vomit, me as you can spag, chivy short of my vomit, yes, you to shen, short of my vomit, me as you can spag, chivy short of my vomit, yes, you to shen, lick to know you down a lock, the pick a relish, lick to know you down a lock, the bottom of a bay, chivy shen to my vomit, yes, you can spag, chivy shen to my vomit, yes, you to shen. Whispered all you said, the nudging nine step on and there's no happy yo stout chitting and there. The beige G, no man in need, but value better on she. As me hack when I'm all at Krishna Lock, the need to come out of all you need. At a hall drive whispered all you say. The nudging nine step at all and there's no happy yo stout chitting in there. The beige G, the man in need, but value better than she. As me hack when I'm all Krishna Hall, beneath the camera the hall you need. As next the Derek Leffy at a hall drive whispered all you say. The nudging nine step at all and there's no happy yo stout chitting in there. The beige G, the man in need, but value better than she. As me hack when I'm all Christmas sauce and need to come out of all you need. As me hack when I'm all Christmas man and need to let your rack Morgan breathe. Short it and rannick, short it and rannick, short it and rannick.
With a track that they call Billia altogether, that was the band Skeel. In 1887, at the age of 34, A.W. Moore married 22-year-old Louisa Elizabeth Wynne Hughes Games, 1866 to 1937. Her father, the Reverend Joshua Jones, had changed the family name to Hughes Games in 1880 to inherit a bequest. In 1866, he'd brought the family to the island on appointment as principal of King William's College. By 1887, though, he was Archdeacon of Man in succession to Joseph Christian Moore. A.W. Moore's uncle, of course, Joseph Christian Moore. A.W. Moore himself died in November 1909, and in January of 1911, his widow Louisa married George Frederick Clucas, known as Frederick. And he'd been in MHK from 1908 to 1910. They got married in Bristol, and then Frederick and Louisa ended up in London, where Frederick later on spent time in war work relating to munitions. When he and Louisa returned to the island in 1919, he again became a member of the House of Keys and in fact was appointed as Speaker. In the meantime, Hannah Moore had died, and as widow of A.W. Moore, Louisa inherited Cronkbourne, where she and Frederick went to live. As Kirtan Rana Giri Vriary. O, my hair veen dreggery, treva mi ma hail yorish a chiver jay, as clai lesh ma blug an air, hutchis jachs an ustja, as chouds van mi Kenya noder awi kaltem, henke ranag, as renny cor leshe mach conent de jinnen jigger lesh ve me chumreg. Ach, gerau mi rius munien de jinnach e fegele ustja as chit me jai, ach nish te on shen, chow mwy Jane Doris, as te giri chits jack dús. As esh, renna dulju clashen e crunkle an achir tes gillach mach, nien Sarah ri, foshel nish dau, Jori shuster a chiva, craven gelden ed dau, nien Sarah ri, esh foshel nish dau. Shen towercho gelden shen signed ut jinu doet an ri. Me saw iminish as lig der chits jach on. Me saw high as doshely a doris, as ren a ranag corliamus jach on, as gart na boin in ek, der a renki a cherek. And that's Cornish multi-instrumentalist and singer Martha Woods, playing all the instruments and providing all the harmonies on two compositions of her own. Now, Martha is from Lostwithiel, which is where you can find Dark Lane and Skiddery Hill, two street names in Lostwithiel, about which she wrote the tunes we heard there. Siordiw stasiwn yn asiwn, sien dy gre radio fanim. As yn sio cartnes, she Claare na Gael vis verklaasjen, mer een pien, Robert Cutting Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Ever heard tell of owl Bobby Bob?
Esh, ren na ranag stappel as dillia mac. Trog soos me de vei ma hail jort. Ach renny cum rail ons ginnum a sen der a hug a ri, Sarah G. Chaleers van Ranag a chair, ve giri drappel soes y woord. As ons shen ve na hai is doort Nis sai de Claare beggen na snedder daw, de vod ma gier a chelia. As ma saw, rennie. Ach, dat de gulje veeg vaag en kreeg on jou arreltach as wie. As renne ranna goil bi de krioi. Ach, ve gien drau dach greim gotch a scornach ex. Sloer shen daw nish door te rannag verjera. As a fair tam ski, sign dot dimmerke mi gus a chambered, as gin a werlud al javi de chija, as nim cormi heen malai as cadla. Esh, gauw nien ri toyach der Kenia, as vi goil al rosha ranag fuur, na berge jint buiach, ach de rau femer cadlas al javi yesh glenek. Nish, henker ri de ve corri. Now, of Louisa's 4 children with A.W. Moore, one had died in infancy. After A.W. Moore's death, she went on to share 26 years with Frederick Clucas, but they had no children. On the 11th of November 1937, Frederick Clucas died at 2 o'clock in the afternoon after suffering appendicitis. When news of his death reached Louisa, she collapsed and died at 8 o'clock that evening. Louisa's next of kin were her son and 2 daughters, and they insist that she be buried by their father, A.W. Moore, in Braddon Cemetery, rather than with George Frederick Clucas, her second husband. The intention was that Louisa would be in the same grave as A.W. Moore, and George Frederick Clucas would be in an adjoining grave. However, it then emerged in George Frederick Clucas's will that he wished to be buried with his own family in Kirk Santon. So, after the joint funeral service in Kirkbraddon, one cortege then set off for Braddon Cemetery and the other for Santon Churchyard. A traditional song, Ons Gaelig na Halliburd, now by Anne MacDonald, who sounds surprisingly upbeat, considering the song is called Ger de Skrienach an Lache.
Smig drø dat koglo hør
song called Gedeskrienach and Lacher, though sunny is the day, which suggests that other prospects weren't quite so sunny, and perhaps we might not have expected the singer Anna MacDonald to sound quite so perky in the circumstances. Now, there was an unexpected visit to the island in August 1902 by King Edward VII and Queen Alexandra. And that included a visit to Cronkbourne, and in fact A.W. Moore had arranged a lot of the travel round the island at very short notice, because they took it upon themselves. In fact, it was Queen Alexandra who really wanted to land in the island. They were in the royal yacht, and she saw the island, and of course she was put in mind at once of the novels of Hall Caine, and so she wanted to see the island which had featured in Hall Caine's novels. And so they landed, and A.W. Moore arranged for them to be picked up and to go round the island and to see different places. And his nose was rather put out of joint because Hall Caine, of course, who was very much the subject of the reason why the royal pair had arrived in the island in the first place, he took centre stage, really. And although A.W. Moore had made all the arrangements, there was Hall Caine. There's a famous picture of them standing outside St Nicholas's at Bishop's Court, and there's Hall Caine standing in the middle with Queen Alexandra, and there's poor old A.W. Moore out on the periphery, right furthest away from the royal couple, with whom he wanted to rub shoulders, of course. But as a result of that surprise visit, including a visit to Cronkbourne, A.W. Moore was appointed a Commander of the Royal Victorian Order, an honour which had been instituted by Queen Victoria in 1896. However, it didn't make him Sir Arthur. Now, Frederick Clucas was appointed a CBE in 1927, but then 6 months before his death, Frederick Clucas's death, he received a knighthood, and that was in the coronation honours of George V in 1937. On the wall of the south aisle of Kirkbraden are two brass plates, one commemorating A.W. Moore and the other Sir Frederick and Lady Clucas. The second plaque reads, "In loving memory of Sir George Frederick Clucas, CBE, Speaker of the House of Keys, and of his wife Louisa Elizabeth Wynne, widow of A.W. Moore, CVO, SHK, entered into rest 11th of November 1937. It applies to both of them, of course. And this is followed by a quote from the second book of Samuel, 1:23, "In their death they were not divided." Well, Arthur and Louise weren't, but Fred and Louisa were. Dúirtarí, Shen tawach o'r geldan und stred a image, Shen nish saiden dut jinu. Maso chrogi nisa ranag leis a chorag as an ordegek, Dimmerki a susna grischen as huggia ons cornel. As trevi a laishis de chadla, henkis nauji as dúirtaí, Tammy ski as tammy giri cadla chwish as tawus, Gau nis mi non an je minstead a Esh, Jenny drawi asa kiel lesh corrie, as hrogga nisa, as chowie lesh ulju an jartek naien vola, as dilia nish na biu tastag ranag archimacht motau. A chouds vi tujum, ren e square vai ve na ranag, as henke de vei dol tadjimach na frins as Sulian Ellen Kengelegge, as henke ge kjaun les kid de hera, de denker de vei ben na fusi as dunje pussy. A dintja gi nish an acht ren droch wich kummele les na pishigenek, as an acht na voddig peger bejelje, ach ish inrigen, ver livreia. Now this is a bit of an old favourite from Wales, sung by Mike Stevens, A Browd Houdini, Houdini's brother, a song written by Mike Stevens and Geraint Jarman.
La 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 la. Only when our Highlander put close, beth am bottle o guru. Oh my ganny brace on my mugger place, try bob in and feather. Or in the garret in ten and tried your hand. ach na brenin y dall, yn grawcian yn y bore. O, dawi'n dwl ar y telefon, geisio wneud ei ore. A minnau'n methu gweld ti fewn neu mas o'r byd a'i chwarthu. O, dim ond fi'n, a brawd hwdi, ni'n cerdded lan i'r nefoedd. Hey, la, 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 la. Oh, la, 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 la. O, ni wen ar hael yn y pwllglo, beth am botel o bwrw. Mae gen i bres, ond mae'r mwg ar tes, yn troi bob un yn feddw. Mor unig arall yn i'r den yn troedio'r eanderau. Hei, dim ond fi, a brawd hwdi, ni'n cerdded lan i'r nefoedd. A bydd la, 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 la. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. Unwaith eto, la, 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 la.
Well, from back in 1970, that was Mike Stevens, A Brawd Houdini, Dim ond fi, A Brawd Houdini. And the la 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 bit turned up on Alan Davis's buzzer sound in an edition of QI. I don't suppose it meant anything to the majority of the audience. There's a line in there, Beth am botel o gwrw, what about a bottle of beer? And in fact, the Cwrw Llyn, the brewery on the Llyn Peninsula, they did brew a bottle which they called A Brawd Houdini in celebration of that song. Dwrt yr un ys dy jinnach yn gysdiaw golrach eiligus ririacht yn ege. As Henk gus y dors couch for gull y tarn lior is hoch cabel bena, les tabag yn bena yn ging, as les grai Well, nimage corcion y sgil sio a nachhirt. Now, with our look at the industrial history of the sailmaking enterprise founded and run for 4 generations of the Moore family and with a little family history, we'll be moving on next time up the hills, southwards from Tremode and Cronkbourne. As ma saw, tyn tre jit. There's 2 hours of the best chill-out music for your Sunday evening on its way from 7 to 9 with Chris Pearson. Then at 9 o'clock it's Sundown with Judith Lay. And so after Houdini's brother, if anyone can make his escape from here, it's Houdini himself, which happens to be the title of this piece, playing us out of Claare Gael this time. It's by Irish quintet Gutja. Ach, Sinead Cartnish by Claare Gael, and so until the next time, this is Robert Dean Carswell, Robert de Carslach.
Old Bobby Bob.
Wishing you a very good night, Eve, I'm a chrieriu, as me Yerian shared you.